Do you know who I am? I'm kind of a big deal.
Hello there. Welcome inside another edition. It is the Bmore Baseball Podcast. I'm Jerry Coleman. He's the former major leaguer, the 14-year veteran, the Orioles Hall of Famer. It's Mike Bordick. We're producing brand new content every day, Bordy, on our Instagram, and Facebook pages. You can find us all in one place at Bmore Sports Pod. That's Bmore Sports Pod, and on YouTube, as you see, if you're watching on YouTube right now, when you follow us or you qualify if you show us evidence that you've subscribed to our YouTube page for a $50 Lido Pizza gift card, again, at Bmore Sports Pod. Today, episode number 29, we're going to be joined by former Oriole, broadcaster now, and Orioles, of course, always Hall of Famer, Brian Roberts. We'll also talk about that electric night for Cal Ripken Jr. Remember the times of Davey Johnson, short period of time here in Baltimore, but a legend nonetheless. And we'll talk with Dr. Michael Jacobs about Cal Ripken Jr.'s remarkable durability. But let's bring in, of course, our featured guest. He's sponsored by Pappas Seafood. From crab cakes to seafood classics, they'll deliver straight to your door. 4 locations in the Baltimore area, plus nationwide shipping. Order today at pappascrabcakes.com. It's former Oriole and current Masson broadcaster. He is Brian Roberts. B-Rob, thanks for taking the time. You're getting ready to do this Orioles Tampa Bay series. What about the broadcasting route? How active have you been with that? How interested are you pursuing it down the road? It's something we enjoy hearing you do. I know you follow the Rays a lot because you're down in Sarasota. It's like you're the special guy they bring in for Rays Orioles games.
Yeah, it's been fun. What's up, guys? Good to see you both, as always. Been a while, but I enjoy it. You know, it's something that kind of keeps me in the game, keeps me attached to the Orioles and the organization. Love being around the guys, and we're doing something a little bit new and different this week too, which will be fun. I think tune in on Wednesday night. We're gonna do something a little different, which is, it just kind of keeps my brain going. I mean, I might end up with dementia if I don't do something that keeps my brain going.
I love it. Hey, B-Rob, so following these young Orioles, right? They've got obviously a great second baseman, and he reminds me of you because, he's a shortstop too. He was a number 1 pick, and he's kind of developed here right in front of our eyes, right? Signing out of high school. Your thoughts on Jackson Holliday, how he's handling this season, and what you expect out of him?
Well, I'll take the compliment, Bordy, because I definitely was not 6'2", 200 pounds coming out of high school, but he's awesome, man. I mean, I think Jackson's doing great. It is a transition. I mean, I transitioned with you. So I came up when you got hurt and played short, and then the next year you were playing short and I moved over to second, and you got to see a lot of that struggle over there at second base. I think there's some differences now, certainly with the double plays more than anything. I think my hardest thing for me back then was turning the double play and guys coming in at you, and you were trying to just stay alive half the time. Nowadays, it makes it a little bit easier, and Jackson is very smooth. I think his footwork around the bag is great. Some of the things I think he's getting used to are going left and right from that direction, but I love the progress he's made. I mean, turning the double play and the backhanded flip seems very natural now. So look, I think Jackson is a kid who, could be one of those players. Obviously these are large compliments, but like a Chase Utley and the Ryan Sandberg, who are good defensive second baseman, but also, just tear it up with the bat. I mean, he's still 21. And I think people don't realize, like when I was 21, when you were 21, we were sophomores in college trying to figure out how to hit 85 with a little slider, and he's got Paul Skeens coming up Wednesday night. It's just a different world. So I think we have to be patient with him, realizing that the best years of Jackson's career are coming starting in the next probably 2 to 3 years. I mean, he is just now at the tip of the iceberg of what he's going to be.
Yeah, great point right there. And you kind of brought this up, talking about the changes in the game. And you, in my opinion, are kind of were the bridge between old school and I think the way baseball is being played nowadays, because I think you got to witness a little bit of, one of my good friends who I dearly miss, Jack Daniels, used to show up a lot back when we played. And so you experienced that side, I think, of baseball, just the old school, go hard, play hard kind of attitude. Things changed, I think, through the course of your career. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh, yeah, it's a great point. I mean, I did, I guess, get to experience a little bit of everything. I got called up in 2001, which was Cal's last year. And Most of my teammates during that time were guys like you and Cal, Conine, Brady Anderson, Scotty E. And, you guys played hard and enjoyed life hard and in all the greatest ways. But it was different. It was very, very different. And to be honest with you, even like off-season training, I think was just then starting to really become a massive thing where everybody really spent all of their off-season preparing and getting ready and working out and getting stronger. And, in the days of Cal, like he would just play basketball, right? A lot, and barely lift. And King Griffey Jr., like even talking to him, like he never lifted. It's just some of those guys are just freak naturally gifted, of course. But they're also, I don't even remember hardly what our hitters meetings were back then. It was like, oh yeah, you get a little righty tonight. I don't know. I think he's probably throwing somewhere 88 to 92, might have a curveball, you're like, go get him. And now it's like, it's page after page after page. They're going to give you what he's going to throw in every count. They're going to give you the type of depth in the sinker. It's going to run 2 inches more than your normal sinker. And so I got to experience a little bit of that. It's gone even farther, obviously. But in 14, 10 to 14, we got a lot more information coming at us. So, yeah, it was neat to experience both for sure.
Hey, B-Rob, what are some of the noticeable differences that you have observed since Tony Massolino took over the reins from Brandon Hyde? Have you noticed a major difference in any aspect?
I think that everyone does things just slightly different, right? And so I don't think that there's been a massive difference, but I do think that every manager has puts his little bit of fingerprint on what they're doing. And I think Manzo had a lot of rapport already built up with some of these young guys, especially infielders, because he worked with them every single day. He had built that, that trust factor where he can really get on them, but also already have that trust. And so I think some of that you have seen a little bit with guys like Gunnar and Jackson and Westy and some of these guys. So at the same time, I think when he took over, they became a little bit more aggressive, maybe, especially running the bases, things like that. I think they really realized they needed to manufacture runs and just play the game in a little different manner than they had been. So I don't see a ton, but there are definitely some little nuances here and there that I think Manzo has brought that maybe turned over when Hyde got let go.
How about managers you played for in the past? Did any have big influence on how you played the game?
They did, absolutely. And that's where sometimes we joke, or at least I say, like, a manager's really only as good as his players are, and to some degree that's true. Like Brandon Hyde, in my opinion, in some ways, like probably wasn't much different of a manager this year than when he won Manager of the Year. But at some point, things have to change when things aren't going well. And so the manager is usually the one that takes the fall. But dude, I have guys who I felt like put me in better positions to succeed than others. I would say in some ways, yes. And when I came up, as you know, Bordick, Mike Hargrove was our manager. I personally did not feel like Mark Hargrove was the greatest young player manager out there. That's just me. I was the young guy. You were the old guy. So
it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault.
No, and a lot of it was my fault. I just didn't play well. But, when you feel the burden and the pressure a little bit of the fact that I felt like, he had been in Cleveland, right, with a lot of really good teams. He had been in Baltimore with a lot of really good veteran teams. I didn't feel like he was the one that wanted to really come and usher in young guys and know that they were going to go through their struggles, right? And I get that. It's not easy to watch. So that was a little bit hard for me early on coming up. And then when Perlazo took over, that was a step in the right direction for me. Somebody who really understood what young guys were going through, and certainly infielders. And then when Lee Mazzilli took over, he was the one that kind of put me on the field and was like, go be you. And that was the most free I'd ever felt on a baseball field, was when Maz took over. So yeah, I think every manager has their strengths and weaknesses, right?
More of the Bmore Baseball Podcast coming right up. At Pappas Restaurants, we've been serving up Maryland's best crab cakes for over 5 decades, and now we make it easier than ever to get your favorites. With 4 restaurants and sports bar locations across Harford County, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel County, you can stop in for fresh seafood, ice-cold drinks, and wall-to-wall TVs. But if you can't make it in, don't worry. We'll bring Pappas to you. Our new state-of-the-art shipping and commissary location on Bel Air Road in Nottingham means you can pick up fresh-made meals or have our famous crab cakes and seafood shipped anywhere in the country. Dine in, pick up, or ship nationwide. However you Pappas, we've got you covered. Order now at pappascrabcakes.com. Shop Maryland's largest adult use and medical cannabis menu located at 1114 Cathedral Street in Baltimore, with medical delivery available throughout Maryland 7 days a week, only at Relief Shop.
Hello, my name is Reese Friedman, and I'm the daughter of Stephen L. Friedman and Rachel Friedman.
Hi, I'm Reese Friedman, a little bit older from the last time you saw me, but still the daughter of Stephen and Rachel Friedman and the granddaughter of Michael Friedman. Now, I'm here to tell you that the law offices of Michael Friedman are still the experts in the field of personal injury accident law. So if you or a loved one have been seriously injured in a motor vehicle accident, I do not want you to hesitate. Call us at 410-363-6848 or email us directly from our website, maflaw.com, for a free consultation. The law offices of Michael Friedman, serving the community for over 40 years.
Jerry Coleman here. I've been a client of the law offices of Michael A. Friedman for well over 25 years now. From motor vehicle accidents to other tort-related issues, 410-363-6848, or find them on their website at maflaw.com.
I'm retired now, but I was an Orioles home run. Grand slam, actually. Took a sweet ride right into the flag court, and it was awesome. Could be awesome for you too. If you play Home Run Riches from the Maryland Lottery, you could win instantly or be a contestant of the game and win $500 for being selected, $500 for every Orioles home run, and $5,000 for every grand slam. Sounds like a ball if you ask me. Enter all season at mdlottery.com.
Very interesting you mentioned that, because I think part of the old school philosophy, you mentioned Hargrove, there's nobody as old school as that guy. Yeah, they hated young players. They love the veteran guy, the guy they could trust, right? Mm-hmm. We just lost a great Oriole, Davey Johnson, who I only played for 1 year, and he was exactly that type. You guys go get him, and just would roll the balls out on the field and let his veteran guys do his work. But I think he was a little different in handling the young guys, because I've heard some stories about, how he embraced the young guy and wanted him to have that freedom, like you mentioned, out on the field and let him be who they're supposed to be. And that's why that 86 Mets team, I had a lot of young guys on it. Yeah. They were able to flourish that way. I only had one manager, that ever made me feel that way. And it was at the end of my career. And it was Davey. And, and Davey said, just go get him, man, be yourself. Now, he aired me out a couple times for some things, but that's, I think, the benefit of some of these new modern day managers. Yeah. They want guys to, express yourself out there, be athletic. I think the expression of the game may have gotten a little carried away, and you might have to say something about that. But other than that, I think players, can just be themselves on the field and show their athleticism.
Yeah, I had the good fortune of playing for Davey actually for a very, very short period of time on the World Baseball Classic team in 2009. Yeah. And that was a super cool experience, obviously, because I had heard so much about him in Baltimore. Guys, Richie Bancells, our head athletic trainer, raved about Davey. I mean, just like, Davey knew that, sometimes you got to lose one game to win two later. So we're not going to burn our bullpen and things like that, right? And I think veteran managers like that are wonderful, because they get the whole scope of what it takes to be great for 162 games, but sometimes the veteran managers don't like the young guys, But as you mentioned, though, I read a story about even Bryce Harper, how Davey Johnson was phenomenal with him when he was 19 years old, and he just raved about him. And I love my time playing just in that short period with the WBC, because obviously when you're playing in the WBC, it's got all the best players from all over. What's Davey going to do except roll the balls out and say, go get them? But it was still great to be around him and just kind of pick his brain.
That's awesome. Hey, Brian, what in your estimation is required of the Orioles to get back into playoff contention next year?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, we all know, look, this thing kind of just went awry from day one, too many injuries, obviously, on the mound for sure. And the veteran guys that they signed, that they thought maybe, okay, we let Corbin Burns go. I say let him go. I know they made a play and it got expensive, but it just didn't work out. And then they go sign some veterans, and those veterans certainly didn't work out early on with Charlie Morton and some of those guys. But I think you're seeing a glimpse right now, right? I mean, we're probably this week gonna see Bradish and Tyler Wells both. Look, you throw those two back in the rotation for 162 games. Grayson, look, let's hope he can get healthy and stay healthy. I mean, that's the one wild card here, I think, is that the Orioles have been counting on Grayson Rodriguez to step up and be that one or two. And he has at times, but the injury bug has just been tough for him to stay on the field also. So What do I think they need to do? I think they either have to decide Grayson is going to be at the top of that rotation next year and they know that, or they have to go get maybe one more guy, because Bradish is no doubt, in my opinion, a one, yeah, a legitimate one when he's healthy and he's out there. But if you compare him with another guy who's going to just be, dominant at the top of that rotation, I think they're back in the playoffs, in my opinion, almost no doubt next year. These offensive guys are going to bounce back, some of them. They're going to also get better, and you're seeing some of this now. You got Basayo coming up. You're seeing Dylan Beavers play really well. Jackson's going to take a whole nother step next year again. Hopefully Gunnar doesn't get off to a slow start after the injury and early in this year, and he's going to be Gunnar. Westy's had a lot of injuries. So I think that top of the rotation guy somewhere in that, 1, 2, 3 mix would be huge.
There is a lot of intrigue in what the Orioles possibly could do. I do love their young offensive players, but as well as I do, they need some veteran bats in there too. Just great stabilizing at bats for a lineup. But I want to touch on the pitching one more time. You mentioned if Bradish can stay healthy. If any pitcher in Major League Baseball can stay healthy, that will be a positive. What can baseball do about this epidemic, or are we going to see more pitchers like Trevor Rogers that can pitch and know how to locate, mix it up in baseball?
Yeah, dude, if I had the answer to that question, I'd be worth a whole lot of money, Bordick. I wouldn't be on this podcast. I don't know where I'd be, but I'm just going to give you my own, certainly non-professional opinion. I just think that, honestly, we talked about it earlier, right? The training is so elite now. Guys are getting so strong. The velocity is so high that I just don't think guys' arms can actually really withstand the amount of torque and the amount of velocity that's coming out of these arms over a long period of time. I mean, to me, it seems to be pretty proven. Yes, Tommy John came into play, obviously a long time with Tommy John from the Yankees, but it not like it is now, right? There's no doubt. There's nothing, subscapular lat tears and all these things. Like, I mean, when you and I were in 2001, I don't remember any of these injuries. I mean, Jake Peavy was the first one I remember tore his lat, and that was probably like 2005, 6, 7. Now we're seeing these things like all the time. And when I came up in 01, and Bordy, when you started, what year did you start? 90?
Yeah, 90. Yeah,
90. I mean, what would you say average velocity was in 90 of a starting pitcher?
90.
90, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when I came up in 01, I'm telling you the average velocity was 92, let's call it.
Yeah.
So like every 10 years, Yeah. I know Cakes. I love Palmer. I love Cakes. He used to argue with me that they threw as hard back in the day when he played as they did when I was playing in 01. I'm like, dude, they don't throw as hard in 10. They didn't throw as hard in 01 as they did in 10. So how's that possible, So I just think the velocity, the amount of torque, I just think it's almost impossible for the body to hold up over long periods of time. And so, yes, can we see more of the Trevor Rogers? That'd be awesome, right? Yeah. It would be. But you and I also know these hitters are big and strong. And, man, you better be able to locate if you're going to be throwing 90. Now, Trevor, not that Rogers is a thumber. I mean, he's still running up there 94, 95. But you better be able to locate the heck out of it if you're going to be throwing 92 to 94,
Yep. I was going to ask Mike this question a little later, but I might as well ask both of you while I have you both now. This woman who was at a Phillies game, I guess it was over the weekend, got a foul ball. Well, she thought it was her foul ball. Another fan thought it belonged to him and his son. She went viral, apparently lost her job. What is it with these fans just fighting over what, I don't know. It used to be a $7 baseball, guys. Maybe now it's up to $10 or $11, Brian.
Yeah. You got me on this one. I'll be honest. We were talking a little bit off the air. Like, I mean, I have the balls that I thought were pretty valuable at one point, and I don't have a clue where they are. Including one that Cal signed to me my rookie year and the day he retired. You would think I might know where that one is. But man, these people are fighting over some random ball that Johnny Smith hit out in the middle of like the 5th inning in DC. And you're like, what? Why would you lose your job and like affect your whole life for that thing?
Oh my gosh. Well, this is the deal. What I think is beautiful about this is it's two Phillies fans. Listen, now I love baseball, but Phillies fans are very unique, okay, and not in a good way. They are as hard on their own, players as anybody else in the league, and I think they're as hard on their own fans as they are on anybody. So to see them kind of go at it, I think, is kind of entertainment. to me. But yeah, I definitely, to take a ball away from a kid, let's go now. And I know the whole story here. Yeah, she may have had her paws on it, and the guy grabbed it to give to her son. And I think it was even his birthday to make things worse.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the heck with her, man. Let's go. Give it up. Once she realized that she took it from a kid, it's no longer her ball. It's the kid's ball. Whatever. It bothers me really to no end.
Wow, Bordy's fired up over there.
Yeah. Did you see my vein right here?
Yes, I did. It popped right out.
Dude,
that's a great that's a great transition to my last question for you, Brian. Speaking of Philly, because I've always wanted to ask you this. For years you were the only Brian Roberts I knew, and this guy pops up in Philly who now runs Universal and NBC. His name is Brian Roberts as well. I went through this for a long period of time with the late, great Jerry Coleman. A lot of people thinking I was him. All I asked Jerry Coleman for, all you can ask Brian Roberts for is his checkbook, because you just sign his checks and just show your ID and you're good. I mean, how much do you get confused for this guy, if at all?
If I had I don't know, $10 million for every time I get a text about Brian Roberts, and you know what it always is? Every single time, actually, it has to do with golf, because it'll be like, dude, you're playing in the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. That's awesome. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm actually doing homeschool at home with 2 9 and 6-year-olds. It's awful. No, don't text me that again. Or then he's a member down at Seminole in Florida, which is like one of the most famous courses, and they do a pro member, and it's literally like a PGA Tour event. It's like Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, and they all play with a member. And somebody text me, dude, I see you're playing in the pro member at Seminole. I didn't know you were a member at Seminole. I'm like, no, I'm a member at a dog track in Sarasota, dude. Stop texting me. So yeah, unfortunately, I get it a reasonable amount, but it's always about golf. I wish I was playing that I wasn't playing.
Man, you haven't been able to slip into one of these events as him?
No, nothing. It's terrible. I wasn't good enough, buddy. This is why do you think Bordy and I are sitting here? You think I'd be here if I was that good?
You don't think it helps with dinner reservations, though? I mean,
I will. I might try that, actually. Might try that. Yeah. That's
I try to drop a Mike Bordick on somebody, and they know my dad, and they kick me out.
There's only one Mike Bordick. Thankfully.
That is true. That's true.
Hey, B-Rob, thanks for the time. We really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you on television, calling the games, and back at Camden Yards this week.
All right, guys. Appreciate you guys having me.
Good to see
All
you.
right. Brian Roberts joining us from his estate down there in Sarasota, Florida. What a beautiful place to live. I envy every time I see him down there.
More of the Bmore Baseball Podcast coming right up. It's saving season at Lido Pizza. 99-cent refreshing iced teas for spring and summer, or $6 calzones every Tuesday. There are tons of new deals and rewards for everyone, exclusively at LidoPizza.com or on the Lido Pizza app. Lido Pizza, a local legend since 1955, proud partner of the Baltimore Orioles.
In a city where passion runs deep, on the stage and on the field, Baltimore knows how to bring the heat. Whether it's a game-winning home run or a breathtaking violin solo, this town plays to win. The Baltimore Chamber Orchestra champions the creative soul of our city with bold performances of classically captivating music. Join the team that brings precision, power, and heart to every performance. Learn more and get your season tickets now at thebco.org.
They say it all comes back to your roots, right? At Grassroots, high-quality cannabis is in their nature. From soil to soul, their passion for cannabis and community inspires everything they do. Try your favorite strains from their cultivar library of top-shelf flower, pre-rolls, and concentrates. Whether you're cheering from the stands or chanting for the O's at home, their crafted flower helps you curate the perfect game day. Ask for Grassroots Cannabis at your favorite dispensary in Maryland. Everyone knows Greenmount Station in Hampstead, but did you know that at Greenmount Station you can bet 7 days a week just like you're at the track? With in-person teller windows and state-of-the-art touchscreen kiosks. And with Greenmount Station's brand new Bet Park Sportsbook, you can bet on all other sports as well, wherever you are in Maryland. Spreads, money lines, live bets, props, parlays, and teasers. The Bet Parks Maryland mobile app is now live for Apple and Android devices, so you'll never miss your next big score. Just search for Bet Parks Facts MD in the Apple App Store or on Google Play. 21 and over only. Please play responsibly. For help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Effective Solutions, your one-stop shop for commercial contracting. Everything from excavation and site development to emergency remediation and restoration. Effective Solutions specializes in many forms of commercial and mixed-use construction. With a dedicated staff and a commitment to quality, Effective Solutions delivers every time.
There. All right. Let's move on to For the Birds, sponsored by the Maryland Lottery. Playing the Maryland Lottery responsibly means knowing what's true and what's not about your favorite games. Learn the facts and the myths by going to mdlottery.com. That's mdlottery.com. As always, please play responsibly. All right, Bordy, that Cal Ripken 21-31 celebration Saturday night was fantastic. On a scale of 1 to 10, it was a 12. But they went from almost being no hit to winning, and one of the greatest comeback wins, one of the best ball games I have ever witnessed. Probably you too. And that says a lot. We've seen quite a few, but again, they were down to their last out and came back to win with 4 runs unanswered.
Yeah, and I don't know, do you give the Orioles that kind of credit, or do you just step back and say, this is Cal Ripken's doing. He's always had the hand on him. It seems like, and I was joking with my buddy before that game. They were like, oh, the rain, man, it's going to be. And I said, this is Cal Ripken, man. There will be a rainbow by the end of this. Trust me. And sure enough, there was. That was one of the greatest days I've ever seen in baseball, to celebrate the Iron Man right here in Baltimore, Camden Yards, to bring back some legendary players. It was so good to see BJ, Rafi, Brady back in Camden Yards, and of course Eddie getting the chance out there. I mean, all the great legends for sure. And and then for the Orioles to be no hit for 8 2/3, to actually witness that was pretty impressive in and of itself. To say, oh my gosh, because I was actually there. I think you were too, Jerry. The last time a no hitter was thrown, right?
Yeah,
and
2001
Japanese pitcher.
2001, Hideo Nomo and the Red Sox almost no-hit you, Brady, Cal, and the Orioles. Yeah. And I was texting Brady during the game saying, I can't believe I'm about to see a second no-hitter. At least you're not involved with this when you're watching it.
Yeah. Oh, I took my offer and my no. Yeah. So anyway, watching that, it was really impressive because obviously Yamamoto had his A stuff. I mean, this guy is ridiculous. Wow. That's how it's supposed to look. And he was carving the O's up. And then here we go. I mean, 8 2/3. What? I mean, really, what are the odds? Almost as rough as like, how could the Ravens lose to the Bills? I hate to bring that up, but anyway. And
it was a bad weekend for the purple and black, no doubt.
Yeah, this was more.
But the Orioles own the NL West right now. They're 5-1 against the Dodgers.
Incredible. And so they end up winning it. What an amazing game. You know, I think the fans really appreciate that. And then to be able to tie it all in to 21-31 in Cal. What a special night for the Orioles. And then, listen, they needed that. The Orioles organization needed that. So a lot of good things happening for sure.
Yeah, well, there was 2 tweets. One that thankfully I didn't put out because I was about to put out a tweet saying, wow, the Orioles have now been no-hit by 2 Japanese-born pitchers at Camden Yards. Thank God I didn't hit send on that one. But I did hit send, and I thank the Orioles PR department. They blew me away with the Cal Ripken signed ball and the thank you note for covering this team for the last 30 years. It's been over 30 years, just for the record, but I do appreciate that. And we'll see if the Ravens PR department shows similar gratitude. I doubt they will. Real quickly, I did want to ask you, what should the Orioles' goals be for this final month? They were already playing that spoiler role and embracing it.
Yeah, I think so. Although a little inconsistent with the spoiler role because they did flip out, I think, 6 straight losses before they went on to this beautiful roll against the National League West. So playing some pretty good baseball. Listen, here down the stretch, I think the main priority was get some guys healthy again. And they're doing that, and they've done that. It would be great to see, Adley Rutschman back in the lineup, Jordan Westberg back in the lineup, O'Neill. Okay, it might not be great to see O'Neill back in the lineup, but anyway, Westberg and definitely Adley Rutschman. But we've already got Bradish back. We got Wells back, Suarez back. So things look better. It just feels better. So the Orioles need that sense. And Manzolino has dropped this new modern day word a few times. It'd get a better vibe going into the offseason, just to feel better about themselves. I think good things are happening. The young group is up now. We've gotten to see them. There can be more evaluation of the young players. so that when we go into 2026, we have a better idea of who we can trust, who we can't, and maybe who we should target in the offseason. Pitching is definitely going to be the name of the game. They've got a stockpile of young players now, so don't get all sad if one of your guys gets traded away to, for a chance to hoist the trophy, because this is where I believe the Orioles have to take advantage.
I agree. And they'll have a say in who wins the AL East with the schedule they have coming in here in September. All right, let's move beyond Baltimore. It's brought to you by Relief, Baltimore's best adult use and medical cannabis dispensary with 700 plus unique menu items and home delivery always available for medical patients. Compliments of Relief. Let's remember Davey Johnson, who passed away at the age of 82, remarkably on the same day that we honored Cal Ripken last Saturday. I could argue that Cal's best years as an Oriole, it was only 2, came as Davey Johnson as his manager. Yeah, he won the World Series his rookie year, but after that, there was a period of time where the Orioles were just lousy. But let's talk about Davey's legacy. You got a chance to play for him. Of course, he came in as he pushed Cal to third base, but he won 2 World Series as a player here. Again, 2 seasons as a manager, both went to the playoffs, and also known again as a guy that handled his veterans and sometimes didn't like the younger players.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think, Davey Johnson, his experience with the Orioles, I think boded so well for his managerial career. I mean, what a great player he was with the Baltimore Orioles, couple World Series championships, some gold gloves hanging in his, house as well. So just unbelievable. And then to have the opportunity to actually play for him here in Baltimore was very special, almost surreal to the point. Well, just coming to Baltimore back then at 97 for me was very surreal. But Davey Johnson kind of making me feel comfortable, letting me know how special this team was. They had just gone to the postseason in 96 and saying just how veteran this team really was. One of the first days talking with Davey Johnson, he said, listen, man, I know you like to handle the bat. If you ever feel like you want to put down a bunt or a hit and run, just talk to the guys in front of you so that you have a sign. You can let them know what you're doing. I don't have to do that for you. So right there told me that he's empowering me to just be the player that I want to be. Well, it didn't quite happen that way in 97. He wanted me to feel relaxed. I think the pressure and the burden of maybe coming in and taking over for Cal got me off to an incredibly slow start and just tore me up mentally. And Davey, this is the beauty of Davey Johnson and showing the old school side of things. He calls me into his office after a month of just I am struggling really bad. And he says, Mike, he says, what is wrong with you? You're one of the best shortstops in the game. You got the best hand-eye coordination in the game, and you can't put the barrel on the baseball? He goes, look, what's happening right now? And I was like, Davey, I am trying, man. And that was about it. Just simply put, get it done. And I'm not saying that message helped me relax, because it certainly didn't. I was in the batting cage every day, even after games, working on my swing. And it took me a little while, but I finally did relax and help that 97 team down the stretch. And we were arguably, in my opinion, I think the best team in baseball, led by the great Davey Johnson.
Yeah, rest in peace, Davey. He went through quite a lot. He dealt with Peter Angelos, got fired the day he was named manager of the year, dealt with the late, terrible Marge Schott. I will never call her the late great. She was a piece of garbage, to be honest, Marge Schott. Do not rest in peace. Glad you're gone. Sorry I had to say that, but I mean it sincerely. He also, of course, dealt with the Mets and that crew and won a World Series with New York. So he'll be iconic there. And then also was a manager with the Nationals. So he had quite the career. And again, rest in peace, Davey Johnson.
Absolutely. I played with Ron Darling, who played on that incredible Mets team. And he always spoke incredibly highly of Davey Johnson. But now, after hearing some of the quotes, right, Bryce Harper was a young guy, and he kind of made him feel comfortable in the big league. So you just love hearing the great stuff about the players and managers that you admire so much. So, yeah, R.I.P. Davey Johnson.
All right, let's move on and bring in the doc. It's our What's Up Doc segment. It's brought to you by the law offices of Michael A. Friedman, my personal attorneys for over 25 years. There's always a live person available when you call the law offices of Michael A. Friedman. You do it at 410-363-6848. That's 410-363-6848 for the law offices of Michael A. Friedman. All right, Doc, we've talked a lot about Cal Ripken Jr. We haven't talked to you about his durability. I mean, you were as close to Cal as anyone for close to 10 years. What aspects of him do you think allowed him to perform without suffering an injury or any time off for such a long period, unprecedented period of time?
It goes back to basically his birth. He has a fantastic family. He has tremendous family unit. His father, Senior, was notorious for being rigid, but smart, but knowledgeable. I remember players telling me in the midst of that massive losing streak to start the season, Senior would be in the front of the plane, suit and tie, sitting erect, not complaining, just working on the next day. And Cal has that same workmanlike approach of you don't complain, you just do your job. And on top of that, I think what's totally underrated in his durability is the fact that Senior taught him how to play the game properly. He knew all the fundamentals. He didn't take unnecessary risks. You didn't see him charging balls unnecessarily and throwing off balance, which could cause trouble. His footwork at second base was impeccable. And even though, as a big man of 6'5", he's not going to have quick feet like Ozzie Smith, his footwork was impeccable. He knew how to save his arm. He always knew how fast the runners were. He knew when to hustle a throw. He knew when to take his time at it. And on top of that, it was his intuitive toughness. And I visually remember in the 98 season when we were struggling a bit, we had a couple players out. I think Junior was questioning whether they really had to be out. And his back was really nagging him. I said, Junior, you sure you want to play here? And he just looked at me and quoted a couple names and said, Doc, somebody has to go out there and play, okay? You know, I'm not taking days off because I don't feel good. And, of course, as Mike said, there was always a star over his head. I wasn't there when it happened, but supposedly during that fight when Mussina hit somebody, he got tangled up in a pile. And it was said that I think I've heard him say it, although not to me, that he probably couldn't have played the next day, even though his wife was trying to throw him on the field. And there was a rain out. So he got that day off. And the next day, his wife grunted, the word was his wife grunted him out there, and the streak continued. And the best part is the day Ryan Miner took his spot. I was in the training room at Richie's office with him, and it was about 1:15, and we were just chit-chatting. And I'm watching the clock, and it's getting closer and closer to game time. And I just looked. I said, Junior, I guess you're not playing tonight. And he said, I guess not. Just like that. It was so matter of fact. It was one of my best moments there. I just looked at him and said, I don't think you're playing here, guy. And
Oh, my gosh.
No. He said, I guess not, Doc. I'm not playing tonight. You know, and the late Ryan Miner took his place. But he was an incredible person who had the gift of playing for one team his whole career. I don't think that streak could have lasted. Maybe, Mike, you think different. But if he went to multiple teams, I think the streak would have been harder to keep.
Sure. I don't think another manager would have maintained that. Mike, you have something you want to add or ask the doc before we wrap?
I just wanted to say this, Doc, about pain tolerance and how players deal with it. And just from my own perspective, coming up, I didn't expect to play every day. A manager would say, listen, you've been playing hard here, take your day off. And I said, okay, that's the way it's going to be. There was a time when I came into the training room and I couldn't lift my shoulder up. I dove for a ball. And the trainer said, are you telling me that you're going to tell Tony La Russa you can't play? And I said, I can't lift my arm. I didn't start that game, but the trainer came down in the 7th inning and said, you got to go into short, man. We're pinch hitting. And I was like, all right, I'll try my best. A ball was thrown. I reached up. I got the ball, turned the double play. And as I ran back to shortstop, I said, okay, how did I do that? I couldn't lift my arm above my head. And that told me in my mind that I could overcome stuff like that. Do you think Cal had that kind of ability? Because I watched him foul balls off his feet. I watched him get taken out at second base. I've watched him go down thinking, oh my gosh, something's got to happen. I've watched him run over catchers, yet he still gets up and go and kept going and going and going. Your thoughts on that?
Well, clearly, everybody's different. As we know, with one of our signs from this year, some people just can't play if they're not 100%. And like I told you that story before, Cal wasn't 100% with his back, but he just looked at me. He says, Doc, somebody's got to be out there playing. And he had that in there. I also got to tell you, from interviewing players from other teams, Cal gave more than he got at second base. And people did not like going into him at second base.
No.
And if you did go into him hard, I remember late in the throwaway game, there was a meaningless double play at the end of the game, and he whistled one right at Albert Bell's head on a double play. And Albert took a quick dive. And I asked him about that after the game a couple of days later. He said, in the usual baseball way of saying it, he said, I owed Albert one. So you guys don't forget. I got to tell you, you guys do not forget things that are like 10 years old. He just looked at me and said, I owed him that one. And I guess Albert knew it because he never complained about it.
Nice.
Dr. Michael Jacobs, segment sponsored by the law offices of Michael A. Friedman. We want to thank Michael and all our sponsors, and Michael hopefully will be ready after shoulder surgery for spring training.
They say it all comes back to your roots, right? At Grassroots, high-quality cannabis is in their nature. From soil to soul, their passion for cannabis and community inspires everything they do. Try your favorite strains from their cultivar library of top-shelf flower, pre-rolls, and concentrates. Whether you're cheering from the stands or chanting for the O's at home, their crafted flower helps you curate the perfect game day. Ask for Grassroots Cannabis at your favorite dispensary in Maryland.
Hello, my name is Reese Friedman, and I'm the daughter of Stephen L. Friedman and Rachel Friedman.
Hi, I'm Reese Friedman, a little bit older from the last time you saw me, but still the daughter of Stephen and Rachel Friedman and the granddaughter of Michael Friedman. Now, I'm here to tell you that the law offices of Michael Friedman are still the experts in the field of personal injury accident law. So if you or a loved one have been seriously injured in a motor vehicle accident, I do not want you to hesitate. Call us at 410-363-6848 or email us directly from our website, maflaw.com, for a free consultation. The law offices of Michael Friedman, serving the community for over 40 years.
Jerry Coleman here. I've been a client of the law offices of Michael A. Friedman for well over 25 years now. From motor vehicle accidents to other tort-related issues, 410-363-6848, or find them on their website at maflaw.com.
In a city where passion runs deep, on the stage and on the field, Baltimore knows how to bring the heat. Whether it's a game-winning home run or a breathtaking violin solo, this town plays to win. The Baltimore Chamber Orchestra champions the creative soul of our city with bold performances of classically captivating music. Join the team that brings precision, power, and heart to every performance. Learn more and get your season tickets now at thebco.org.
I'm retired now, but I was an Orioles home run. Grand slam, actually. Took a sweet ride right into the flag court, and it was awesome. Could be awesome for you too. If you play Home Run Riches from the Maryland Lottery, you could win instantly or be a contestant of the game and win $500 for being selected, $500 for every Orioles home run, and $5,000 for every grand slam. Sounds like a ball if you ask me. Enter all season at mdlottery.com.
At Pappas Restaurants, we've been serving up Maryland's best crab cakes for over 5 decades, and now we make it easier than ever to get your favorites. With 4 restaurants and sports bar locations across Harford County, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel County, you can stop in for fresh seafood, ice-cold drinks, and wall-to-wall TVs. But if you can't make it in, don't worry. We'll bring Pappas to you. Our new state-of-the-art shipping and commissary location on Bel Air Road in Nottingham means you can pick up fresh-made meals or have our famous crab cakes and seafood shipped anywhere in the country. Dine in, pick up, or ship nationwide. However you Pappas, we've got you covered. Order now at pappascrabcakes.com. It's saving season at Lido Pizza. 99-cent refreshing iced teas for spring and summer, or $6 calzones every Tuesday. There are tons of new deals and rewards for everyone, exclusively at LidoPizza.com or on the Lido Pizza app. Lido Pizza, a local legend since 1955, proud partner of the Baltimore Orioles. Everyone knows Greenmount Station in Hampstead, but did you know that at Greenmount Station you can bet 7 days a week just like you're at the track? With in-person teller windows and state-of-the-art touchscreen kiosks. And with Greenmount Station's brand new Bet Park Sportsbook, you can bet on all other sports as well, wherever you are in Maryland. Spreads, money lines, live bets, props, parlays, and teasers. The Bet Parks Maryland mobile app is now live for Apple and Android devices, so you'll never miss your next big score. Just search for Bet Parks MD in the Apple App Store or on Google Play. 21 and over only. Please play responsibly. For help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Shop Maryland's largest adult use and medical cannabis menu located at 1114 Cathedral Street in Baltimore, with medical delivery available throughout Maryland 7 days a week. Only at Relief Shop.
Effective Solutions, your one-stop shop for commercial contracting. Everything from excavation and site development to emergency remediation and restoration. Effective Solutions specializes in many forms of commercial and mixed-use construction. With a dedicated staff and a commitment to quality, Effective Solutions delivers every time.
Also, thanks to senior executive producer Chip Franklin for putting this latest episode together. He's a baseball savant. Just ask him. Until next week, be kind, be real, and make sure to be back for the latest edition. It's next week. It's the Bmore Baseball Podcast. We'll see you then.
Do you know who I am? I'm kind of a big deal.